Hi everyone. So a little update on tomatoes and some tips. I want to show first the first sign of a tomato. It is June 2nd, I believe. And they're looking really strong. So I thought I would share just some really basic tips. I was with some of my girlfriends that enjoy to garden and they had a lot of questions. So I thought I would share some, again, overall tips on having strong tomato plant, especially when you're in a small space like this. So I only have so much room. Even though we pack it in here, if you only can grow a few tomatoes, here's the best tips I can give you to try to make sure that they are producing for you. So first of all, we grow vertically. So you can do this with a tomato cage or a string. We have it all the way up to our poles for our light string. And then these are tomato clips that you can order from your favorite store online. And they're so awesome to use. You just put the string right in the back side here, and then you can clip it to the stem of the tomato. So you see right here. So all season as they grow, you continue to move them up. You can keep them on. You will go through hundreds if you even have a small area like this. So planting vertically and growing vertically, is really helpful for space. So one other thing you want to do is make sure that the leaves aren't touching the soil, because they will start to get some damage or disease. You can see this one here. So I will come through and clip this off with my shears. You want to make sure that there's no dirt on there. You also want to remove suckers. So a sucker is basically another plant that is starting in between this Y of the branch. So this will start a whole nother plant, and you will definitely get more tomatoes from this, but they may be smaller and it may take longer for them to ripen. Plus there may be more risk for disease because they're not getting a lot of airflow, and you will be cutting off less leaves. So there's some advantages and disadvantages of keeping suckers. And then one other thing we do is we put a bunch of straw or hay down to try in these boxes. They dry out fast, so you have to be careful for watering. Now we've gotten a ton of rain recently, but usually I have to water every day in a container like this, and especially with the size that these heirlooms will grow up to the top. So you'll see as the season goes. So really simple things that you can do to try to help speed it up. If you ever feel like you can fertilize throughout the season with basic fertilizer. I've used milk when we have some issues with some end blossom, like the bottom rot that you might see on a tomato. So there's a bunch of different things you can do throughout the season too. You just have to make sure you're diligent on looking every day, because this is all we have. So we want to make sure that we get enough from our tomatoes. So talking through the suckers, every year I remove them, and the plants, they do look like there's less leaves, and you see these big bunches of tomatoes that grow, and we've had success with that. But I thought this year, this box, I have 5 tomato plants. This box I have 4, but same 4 over there. So we are going to do a little experiment, and I've been removing suckers, but I'm not going to remove suckers anymore unless they get really out of hand. But we'll see how these 4 tomatoes do, the different varieties, as opposed to those, by not removing suckers. And again, this might actually be beneficial if they take longer to ripen. So then if those come in first, and I can use those earlier on in the season, and these may take longer to ripen, and you might actually get more into like later on in the season in the fall. We'll see how that goes. So stay tuned. Earlier we noticed that this pot was not draining. Well, this tomato was not doing well. It was starting to droop and get a little bit yellowing of the leaves, and they were starting to curl up, which is a sign of too much moisture. And I went to dip this pot down, and all this water started pouring out. So these tomatoes are resilient. This one looks really strong. It's a mushroom basket, but I only have 2 of those. So once again, you have to pay attention every day. We drilled some holes in the bottom, and a ton of water came out. So we did not either drill holes, or they just weren't appropriate for how much dirt is in here. but we want to make sure that this tomato survives because we only have two varieties, two types of this variety. Yeah, that's it. Bye.